Okay, let's dive in. You've landed that first proper job, that first real salary. It's brilliant, right?
Absolutely. But then comes the big question. What do you actually do with it? How do you manage it so it doesn't just, disappear?
Exactly. So today, we're tackling that head on. Managing your first salary. It's crucial stuff.
And we're drawing on some really solid advice here. We've got excerpts from Budgeting Your First Salary, a Young Professional's Guide. It's written by Ephraim. He's got over a decade in audit and financial consulting. Knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So our mission really is to pull out the most practical, actionable bits from this guide. Quick takeaways to help you make your money work for you right from the start.
And it's not about feeling restricted, is it? The guide makes that clear. It's more about building a foundation, for financial freedom later on.
That's a great point. It reframes budgeting completely.
It really does. The guide basically says budgeting transforms your salary. It stops being this thing that just happens to you every month.
Right, and instead it becomes a tool, something you actively control.
Precisely. So, where do we start? The guide flags this big early challenge: lifestyle inflation. Ephraim calls it the earnings trap.
Ah, yes, the earnings trap. That massive temptation when the first decent paycheck lands. You suddenly want to upgrade everything, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. The nicer flat, the daily coffees, takeaways every other night. It's easy to get carried away.
Super easy.
Okay.
But the guide's advice here is critical. Just pause,
Uh-huh.
hold off on inflating your lifestyle straight away.
Yeah, resist that urge. Prioritize getting financially secure first. That's the key.
And he gives some really concrete first steps, like aim for a starter emergency fund, just £1,000.
It sounds small, maybe, but it's huge. It's that buffer, for unexpected things, a sudden bill.
Peace of mind, basically.
Yeah.
And then the guide is really strong on high-interest debt.
Oh, definitely. Credit cards, payday loans, anything with nasty interest rates, the advice is attack it, like aggressively.
Because that interest just eats away at everything else you're trying to do, right?
Exactly. It cripples progress. So get that 1K buffer sorted, then hammer that expensive debt.
And then the other key action, automate your savings. Set it up so money moves the day you get paid.
Right. Even if it's just £50 a month or per paycheck, don't underestimate that. It builds up.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's about setting up your future self, isn't it? Giving future your options without being weighed down by debt.
Yeah, giving future you a bit of breathing room.
Huh?
Okay, so once you've tackled that initial security piece, what's next?
Well, the next challenge is just figuring out where the heck your money is actually going. Awareness.
The tracking part. This brings us to the second big strategy: mastering cash flow. The guide suggests a modern take on the old envelope method.
Yeah, where people used to literally put cash in envelopes for different expenses.
Exactly that, but updated for today. So using budgeting apps or even just a simple spreadsheet.
You basically create digital envelopes or categories, things like rent, bills, groceries, transport, social life.
And you allocate funds to each category when you get paid. It gives you a plan.
And the guide suggests the 50-30-20 rule as a really good starting framework for this allocation. It's not strict, but it's helpful.
Yeah, it's a guideline. So roughly 50% of your take-home pay for your needs. That's the essential stuff: rent, utilities, council tax, basic food, getting to work.
Right. That about 30% for wants.
Mhm.
That's the fun stuff, the lifestyle choices going out, subscriptions, hobbies, non-essential shopping.
And crucially, that final 20% goes towards savings or paying down debt faster, building that future security.
And the main action here is just track it. Do it consistently for maybe 3 months.
Because just seeing where the money goes often makes you naturally start cutting back on things you don't really value, right?
Right, exactly. That awareness itself is powerful, which kind of leads perfectly into the third strategy.
Building that filter between needs and wants, the guide calls this your financial superpower.
Ah, I like that. Your superpower. And it's about developing a habit, isn't it?
It is. Training yourself to just pause for a second before you buy anything and ask that simple question: is this a need or is this a want?
So defining those. A need is genuinely essential for living or working, like your rent, basic food, getting to your job, water, electricity, the absolute basics.
Whereas a want is, well, it's something that makes life nicer, but you could live without it. Takeaways, that extra streaming service, new clothes when your wardrobe's full, drinks out.
It requires a bit of honest self-reflection in the moment, doesn't it? That pause is key.
Definitely. Applying that critical thinking before you tap the card. Are you choosing based on long-term goals or just short-term impulse?
Okay, so let's recap quickly. The guide's core advice for handling that first salary is 1. Resist jacking up your lifestyle right away. Build security first with that £1 K fund and by attacking bad debt.
2, get a clear picture of your cash flow using something like the 50-30-20 rule and tracking your spending, maybe with an app. Find out where it's actually going.
And 3. Consciously use that needs versus wants. Filter your superpower before you spend. Make deliberate choices.
It's all about taking control right from the beginning. And Ephraim Unwigby leaves you with a really good question to ponder from the guide. He asks,
Go on.
what's your #1 budgeting hack? Something for you to think about what strategy works best for you, or what might you try first.